Good day to you all. Welcome back to our coding club. Yeah, this tutorial is majorly on aspects of PHP. So those in our advanced classes on PHP classes can do well to at least watch this tutorial. Um, Guys, without much waste of time, I want us to start. So I'm going to start my exam. Yeah, I'm going to start my control panel, and I'm going to start my Apache and then my SQL, and then I'm going to go ahead to open my Notepad++. Yeah, I can go ahead to work with this. I think you guys remember us working with something like this. So I'm going to go and delete every code in PHP. Um, let's get rid of the whole code in PHP. So we can actually get rid of the code in the HTML. We can just go ahead and do it again, just for the sake of those that just joined in the class for the very first time, so you really see what we're doing and then how you can actually participate with it. So if you have opened your text editor, you can go ahead and type your HTML and then the body, and we can just go ahead and do our code here. So I can also go ahead and do maybe the head. That's not compulsory for this case, but I can go ahead to do it. So this is the head, and then I'm going to do the close tag for the head. So guys, listen. What we are going to do in this code is trying to link our HTML form to our PHP. But this time around, we don't want people to fill the form and then the form maybe replace the current information that is in the form. We want to be able to fill something in our form and then being able to fill another information and still retain the same information in the form. I don't know the best way to put it, but I think as we work, you'll find out what I mean. So we can just give this form or maybe form data or something. Can't think of any good title to give to that now. So the first thing I want to do is to make maybe password, and then this is our form. So we have to have our form action. That's the first thing, because we need to know where our HTML code is going to be linked. And you see right here, I have my project.php. So I can give this project.php because every time I click on the button, I want my HTML to go to the project.php. So I'm going to give the action project.php. PHP, not PHP. So the next thing is the method. So the form method, what kind of method do I want to give to my form? This time around I want to give it method called post. Remember, like I said in the class, we use post, not get, because we don't want to be displaying all our information to the users. We need post for it to be really secured. So we use post. So the next thing I want to do is to create maybe my input boxes. So the first input box I'm going to do is called input type that I'm going to do is called name, because I want us to be able to input our name. And then I can give this value, guys. I can give this my input box a value, maybe a value like though it's not compulsory to do that, but I can actually go ahead to give it a value. But for now, let's not do that. Maybe later we can actually see what that will do. So we give it input type called name, and then give it a name, because I need the name for the PHP to really know what I'm doing. But before I do that, let me just go ahead to close this input box. I'll go ahead to do this. Now I've closed the input box, and let's go ahead and copy all this. Sorry, I'm doing this video a bit in a hurry, but the next thing I want to have is an input type, and this input type is going to be called maybe password, um, and maybe the last input type I want to have is called an email. That's my input type, email. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead to save this, and then I'll open it in my browser, then you see exactly what I mean by these input boxes. So but before then, I have to close my input box, my form box, by typing form. So everything I open in HTML has to be closed in HTML. If you don't really understand what I'm doing in this HTML, you can go ahead to watch my HTML videos, and then before you come back to this PHP. Then the next thing because this box is majorly for my PHP. So the next thing I want to do is to make the button, or let me refresh this on my browser, and you're going to see the outcome of it. So go ahead and run. I thought I was using Sublime Text, so go ahead and run. Yeah, let me use my Internet Explorer and close this. So this is the information, this is the form data that I used in my head. This is the information, the boxes, and then the other box. But now there's no way the user would know the what box, or the the label for each of the boxes. There's no way the user is going to know. So what I'm going to do is to come back here. I'm going to use name. I'm going to come to the next box, input box, and I'm going to use password, because this is for my password. Just for label, doesn't do anything exactly, just to show the user the information of what each boxes are made for. I'm going to use my email, and then I'm going to save this and refresh. Then you're going to see the result. Exactly, this is what it produces. So maybe I don't really want this form to be on the same line. I can go ahead and bring everything to the next line. It's possible. The first one, I can go ahead and put my p tag. Instead of closing the first form tag here, I can decide to just close it with the p tag for the first line. The p tag. I can do the same thing with this next one. The p tag. Can do the same thing here. Remove this p tag. Can go for my email. Same thing. P tag. And the same thing. Yeah, that shouldn't be outside. Then my p tag, and then I can remove this because I don't see the use of it. Then I'll go ahead and save and refresh. You see what the p tag is a paragraph tag, and this is exactly what you do to my text. Everything goes down. So I don't really want to do some other minor adjustment, but the next thing I'm going to do is I need to submit my my form. So I'll do something called input type. Please make sure in input type what you're using is something called submit. I'm not using button. Submit. And then I need to give it, okay, let me save and refresh so that you use, I shouldn't be doing all these things, but you need to watch my HTML tutorial. So it submit, because of this, because I'm using the Internet Explorer, although it's telling me submit query, but I can change that submit query to something called value. Value will give me a default name. That's what I was telling you guys about. You give me a default name, I can do submit, or I can type enter or click or something. Anything, I can type anything right here and it will show right here, write this code alone. I can type anything right here and then it will display. So I can save this, and then you see how it's going to reflect to submit. Then that's submit. So when I go ahead to fill this form, it takes me back to my PHP code, which is exactly what I wanted. But the problem now is this: I have no code embedded in my PHP, so I wouldn't want something like this. So first thing I'm going to do is to first try to access the first name, which is this name. So, but before I can do that, I need PHP to know what box I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead to give each boxes a name. So the first box is going to be called maybe name. For just maintain this naming convention is going to really help you. And the next thing is the name is going to be called password. I can give it any name, but I prefer giving this kind of naming convention. It's easier for me to access. I don't really need to come back and be checking, already knowing what my name is. So this is email. You can see right there, this is my email. So I can do major stuff, but this is what I'm going to do with it. So so we're going to go back to our PHP page. So in this page, we're going to try to access the first input box. That's this first input box. Let's try and access this first input box. That's this one. I'm going to try to access this. Remember, the name I gave to this is called name. So I'll go back to my PHP, and then remember I'm using post. Yeah, I'm really using post here. So I go back to my PHP. this action is actually referring me to my PHP. So every time I click the enter button, it takes me back to my PHP script.